All right, welcome everyone. We are going live. So I am on a whole lot of different platforms. Give me just a second. Okay. All right. So welcome everyone. I'm going live. I'm on a whole lot of different platforms. I am on Clubhouse, which is where the Wealth Builders Alliances room has always been. I've not been on Clubhouse in a month, and so I miss it. Um, so we're going to dive in. I'm on stereo, and then I'm also on, I'm using StreamYard to go on Facebook on different platforms, right? So give me just a second, and we'll dive right into this conversation. It's been a minute since I've been on Clubhouse, right? So, and again, I'm streaming on stereo. I'm streaming on Facebook and YouTube. So, we're going to dive right into this conversation. So, on stereo, we record the Good Morning from Africatown, Los Angeles morning radio show. And so, I'm going to kind of set the tone and kind of do the outline for stereo, or for our radio station rather. So we're going to take some breaks in between the conversation, but I do want to welcome everyone in. I am your holistic lifestyle coach and host, Angelina, with Clearest Conscience. And again, we are here. We're broadcasting all over, and we are going to record for the Good Morning from Africatown, Los Angeles radio morning show. So, the cool thing about, first of all, the Good Morning from Africatown, Los Angeles morning radio show is such a mouthful. But the good thing about this is that we broadcast all over. So, we started in our radio station started in Africatown, Los Angeles, and then we're all over as far as the United Empires of Acubalon, which is who makes up the radio station, right? So um sometimes we're all together, sometimes some of us are together, sometimes we're solo dolo, but we still send positive conscious messages out, right? And that's what this is all about. So tonight, the conversation is creating boundaries that lead to success. And a lot of times I like to touch on subjects that I can be relatable to, right? That I can give a message to and empower other people with. So this is one of those messages. So um, give me, no, I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna go ahead and start in on this. So the conversation is creating boundaries that lead to success. And a lot of times we operate in ways where we're so habitual and so consistent with behavior that it can sometimes be our own detriment, right? So for me, I'm always compassionate, I'm always giving, I go out of my way to give. Sometimes it takes a lot for me. But it doesn't take a lot in the moment. It's in the aftermath where I realize that things just aren't adding up sometimes, if that makes any sense. So having boundaries is very important. Understanding and knowing when to say no, being okay with saying no is very important. What's going on, D Mays? D Mays is in the house on Facebook. D Mays Uncut is Mind Games Uncut is everywhere. So make sure you all check out Mind Games Uncut. Always sharing positive messages, especially when it comes to the Black community, right? So definitely check out Mind Games Uncut. who is an amazing asset to the United Empires of Akibalon. So definitely check him out. So when it comes to setting boundaries, creating boundaries, and how that leads to your success, it's very important for us to understand what that means. So again, a lot of times, especially in the Black community, we have um, a complicated time saying no. Um, we have a complicated time expressing how we feel, right? Um, Feeling objective, being objective, right? When we have our own opinions, we have our own point of views. A lot of times it's difficult for us to allow people in to kind of allow us to be open-minded, and think beyond what we understand. So again, for me, I've had situations, and a lot of times my situations, what I share, um, comes from experience. So when I'm talking about creating boundaries, again, I had a situation here recently where I put myself out there, right? And it's because what I do, right? And because of that, people tend to call on you and they rely on you. And when you have a difficult time saying no or saying I can't or even I don't want to, it's very complicated a lot of times when you have compassion, right? We feel bad, we want to apologize. I'm sorry I can't help. I'm sorry I can't. Why are we sorry? I'm saying, why are we apologetic for setting boundaries? And that's what I want to get to tonight, is being able to set boundaries and be comfortable with those things, right? So I had to explain myself earlier as far as why I could not or would not do something. You know, um, hang on just a second. I'm sorry, I'm hearing some background noise. Give me just a second. I don't know where it's coming from. I'm so sorry. I know where it's coming from, but I don't know what's playing. Oh, this is so crazy. I have this background noise going and I cannot control it. Okay. So, anyways, I'm sorry. I was trying to control some background noise. Sorry about that. So, yeah, just having some boundaries is important. And it's important for your success because when you cannot say no to someone that's not for your benefit, you cannot say yes to yourself. And that's what I'm learning. It's not a bad thing to say, no, I can't. No, I don't want to. Um, no, I don't have to. It's very complicated for a lot of us to say that. We have to get out of those kind of things. So that is what the conversation is here tonight. Um, and looking at what success means. Give me just a second. I'm gonna read some. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm reading. I'm reading text in the Clubhouse room. I'm sorry. So yes, to the individual that's speaking on Clubhouse. Yes, it is only censored human. It's only you and I in the Clubhouse right now. But again, these conversations are on replay, so I encourage people to listen to them um, in the replay. So, um, yeah. And give me just a second. I don't know if, like I said, I'm on stereo also, so I hope I can't. I hope I'm not muting myself on this conversation. Again, the conversation always starts on Clubhouse. This is where I started my Wealth Builders Alliance conversation. So I'm trying to kind of mingle between all these different platforms, and it's quite complicating. So my apologies for the delay. Excuse me, and thank you for your time. So anyhow, so yeah, I think creating boundaries is important. It's funny, and I'd love to hear from anyone that's listening. What are your thoughts on creating boundaries? What are your thoughts on the difficulty when it comes to saying yes or saying no to something? For me, it's been very difficult for me um, to set boundaries and say no to people, but it's definitely necessary, you know, as far as self preservation, understanding where you can, what drives you mad, what triggers you, what makes you happy, even. Those are things that we don't consider a lot of times, which we should. They're things that are very important. Um, so that's what I look at is happiness. I don't think a lot of us understand what happiness is. And it's really interesting because when it comes to emotion, a lot of us can say what it feels like to be angry or disappointed, distraught, depressed, overwhelmed, all these things. But happiness is not it's not an emotion that a lot of us are familiar with or comfortable even with. And that's something that we have to get out of. And that's why I said when it comes to um, setting boundaries, a lot of that comes with understanding what makes you happy and what doesn't, and being honest with that. There's nothing wrong with honesty. And a lot of times, if we don't know ourselves, it's very difficult for us to be honest and accountable and straightforward, even for self preservation. So that's my thought on that. And give me just a second. I think I have somebody trying to come in. Okay, my apologies. I do not. So, yeah. So, I hope everyone's doing well on this Friday. Like I said, it's been a long time since I've been on Clubhouse. It's been a long time since I recorded for the Wealth Builders Alliances on the Clubhouse app. And I sincerely miss it because I love the dialect. I love the conversation. I love the interaction. Shout out to Elizabeth that just popped in and popped out on stereo. And that's all good too. Like I said, it's been a minute since I've been on here. I've been doing so many things. I've been very, very busy, you all. And that's why I said setting boundaries is important. I've been so super busy. Everyone I know that I am united with is very, very busy. And we're all doing positive things, and that's why I said it's important for us to set boundaries so that we can be successful. And success looks different for everyone, but you have to set standards and you have to set goals, right? Before you can set boundaries. So if you don't have a goal for something, how can you set boundaries? Once you have a goal, you understand that you have to be self-preserving, excuse me, right? You have to be self-aware, you have to be self-loving, self-forgiving in order to pay that forward to other people. So a lot of us are not there yet, but I would love for us to get there. It is very doable. And for me, it feels good. It feels good to be my best. And a lot of times when I don't set boundaries, I'm not my best. When I compromise and when I yield to things that I know better than to yield to, it's very difficult for me to be my best in that kind of sense, if that makes sense, right? So that's the goal here tonight, is to have that conversation about that. Um, and just get to a point where we're comfortable with being who we are and being able to understand how we contribute to society, contribute to family, contribute to self. And for me, that is super important. That's super important. What was the rap song? You can't help me if I can't help you if I can't help myself, right? And that's so true. If I can't help myself, I cannot help you in the fullest. I can still help you, but it costs way more for me to do so. So just something to think about, right? So I don't want to keep talking too long because we're going to take a break. Like I said, we are recording. I'm recording for the Good Morning from Africatown, Los Angeles morning radio show. So in order to do that, I'm on stereo, and we're going to take a quick break in just a second, um, so that we can keep everything in order and in line. And after the break, I'd love to tell you about the morning radio show that we have and the United Empires of Equivalon. So we'll take a break for just a second, and we'll be right back. Okay. So I'm going to break really quickly. Again, I'm recording for the morning radio show. So we take 2 minutes out for the break. And so I'm doing that right now really quickly. I'm going to see if Queen Kathy is available to chit chat. Let's see. Okay. So Queen Kathy is not available, so it's all good. What's going on, Queen Gabby? It's been a minute. Let's see if you're available to speak. It's been a minute. Hey, Queen, how are you?
Can you talk to me? I didn't hear you.
Yes, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I am well, thank you. It's been a minute.
It has. I've been busy.
Yes, haven't we all? Oh my goodness.
So,
Oh my goodness. You doing all right though?
of course.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's what's up. What's been new with you?
Oh, nothing really. Doing same old, same old.
Yeah.
Working, trying to make $1 million.
I hear you.
How have you been?
I've been well. I've been well, dabbling in a whole bunch of things. I've been well though. I cannot complain.
So what you got new going on?
Nothing. Actually, no, that's not true. I just started. I know, right? I just started a new job. Kind of dabbling in marketing and doing nursing or whatnot for home care. So that's been a good
like
thing.
Job?
It's kind of like I still do what I want to do. It like it really kind of feels uncomfortable because I kind of do what I want to do. Like I'm at home, and when I want to work, I work. If I don't know. It's weird. So it's different. It's different. It's what I always wanted, but because I wanted it, it's like really weird having it. So yeah, I guess a job. I guess I don't know. Actually, it's like more a part. It's a partnership. Actually, like having the conversation, it's more of a partnership, and so I'm kind of just tapping into it. It's a new thing, so it's positive. We'll see how it goes.
That's good.
Yes, yeah. So,
what's the topic tonight?
I was talking about creating boundaries that lead to success. So it's funny you're on here. It's very funny you're on here because don't laugh. Because I noticed that like you're still in the group chats with Primerica.
Uh-huh.
And I keep getting all these threatening conversations via text, and I know you and I have had conversations about disrespect and professionalism. So I think it's like subliminally, this kind of prompted this conversation. Um,
Mhm.
yeah, setting boundaries because I can I can say some stuff and I mean what I say and I don't ever want to have to mean it, but it's like getting to that point and it's kind of disappointing. It's unsettling. So yeah, so setting
Okay. Can we back up a second? So what changed? Because it seemed like I know that when she was out of town on the little cruise or whatever, like she left you in charge of the team, and like so I thought you were like plugged in, plugged in. Has
no
that changed?
No, it was never that. I mean, like that's what I'm saying. Like everything I do, I try to be my best at, you know. So everything, it doesn't matter what it is. I never try to be better than somebody, but I try to be my best. So with that situation, like I've been on the calls like week after week, like being bullied to do so, and it's like I see who's on there. Like if you're doing so well, I'm not I can't count anybody's pockets. But if you're doing so well, it's like 15, 18 people on. Like you make it like it's something else. I don't know. So yeah, I don't know. Like it's just it doesn't make sense. It doesn't add up to me. And like you said, I think Kenneth said like the products are good. What Primerica has is amazing. I think it's really good. I'm actually with a whole bunch of other different things, like certain things I've compared prices to. So I don't knock Primerica. When it comes like a life insurance, I've done the math that makes sense. Like you said, it's the leadership, and I think that's why I try to stay with it because it sucks what the leadership looks like, and everybody in Indiana knows who this person is, and it's not a good conversation. So I do try to like tip the scale and make things better. Um, and again, it requires me to set boundaries because this chick really had me on 10 the other day. Like Kathy's on here right now. Like I was on the phone with Queen Kathy and I had a call like with Kathy, like from Melaleuca, and like I had an appointment with Shati, and like she sent me all kind of ratchet text messages, like like I want to go back to the past to come back to the future on you, cause like what's wrong with you, you know. So I guess and my husband says, well, did you say this? Did you say that? Like, if I tell you, like, stop mess with me, like, this month, leave me alone. I can find it out on my own. Like, all these things. Like, I'd be trying to be nice. And so now I'm having to set new boundaries because I guess me being nice is just too nice for people. And it makes me mad. So,
It is very unfortunate that when it comes to this particular person, you're absolutely right. Nice is a little too nice. And I simply told her, like, I got some of them threatening messages yesterday or today, talking about they about to take me out of the system. Like, I was like, okay, so what you want me to do? Like, she was like, I'm trying to see if you are still interested in pursuing this or you just gave up. Like, what are you going to do? And I said, first of all, I never told you that I was going to build a business in Primerica. That's what you fail to understand and get around your head, wrap around your head. Secondly, as long as y'all taking my $25 for this little POL,
that part.
what system you taking me out of?
But here was my thing though. My thing was like she said saying to me. So when I see you in the group chat, like I know you've not been like present like for a long time, like longer than I have, So I'm confused. How can it be terminated if it's my business, right? So I have a whole bunch of businesses online that I do. I have a whole bunch of online businesses that I don't tend to. They're still my businesses whether I make money or not. They're still my businesses. So that's why I stick with it, because why are you lying to people? You're being dishonest. If it's my business, bitch, mind your business. And on my mind. You should have said what it was. So if I bring somebody on, I'll tell you what it is. If you ain't got to get on these calls, I'll tell you what you need to know. Why wouldn't you record what's going on? If I'm not going to be there, why would you record it? If you're not there, I've never missed training. I've never missed training. You ain't got nothing going on there. You're not married. You're 40-some years old playing softball or kickball or whatever you're playing. Like, I'm confused. So I don't like the deception. So that's what I'm saying. Like with this situation, like I think it is beneficial. And even if like you didn't want term life, if you want term life, I think this would be the way to go. But if you didn't want term life, I do have somebody, and she's a Black woman that does whole life that I can help you with. The goal is for me to empower you and educate you. But what I won't have is some half breed talking slick to me. That's what I won't have. And I'm saying that I have a son that's biracial, so take it how you want to. What I won't do is have you girlfriend this, sister that. I'm not your sister, I'm not your girlfriend. That's what I mean. Like,
don't hit me with the
what's going on, Queen Kathy?
Oh, okay. I don't know. I got messed up because your call came through from stereo, and then I had just got into Clubhouse, and so I think you couldn't hear me before, so I signed out. So I was testing.
Okay, I like you in Clubhouse better. What do you think, Kathy? I know Kathy. So Kathy Gabrielle is part of Prime America too. So I had Kathy come on before, and like it was like that Wednesday kind of thing, and it was like short and choppy that Shati did, So it was like, I don't know. It was just I don't know. I'm always rude with people. I don't understand why people don't have no respect for that, and it bothers the life out of me. And that's something with boundaries. Like, I don't have no problem telling you no. And I really want to tell you where you can go, because, like, no is not good enough for you. Like, you just so disrespectful. And it's very upsetting for me.
I don't know. I just listened that one time. That was it.
I was very disappointed and very embarrassed.
For that day that I came on with Tina?
Yes. Like, I thought it was a waste of my time. I do. And it was waste of your time and Quintina's. It was. That's what I'm saying. I don't like not being honest and not being truthful with people and not being transparent. And that's the problem with people, like with business, with Black, the Black community, everything. We're not transparent. I don't like that. That's why I called her a half breed. I'm sorry. And like I said, I can say it because my son is biracial, so I'll say whatever I want to say. So.
Both my kids were. So
you said what?
I said 2 out of 3 of mine were. So.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to make it about that, but like the disrespect, like that's what I'm saying. The boundaries. It's just like I don't understand. We get so docile with certain people, and it's just ridiculous.
It's from that message that she sent you.
She did. She was just jazzy, Apparently, you don't care about my time. Like, I was on the phone with Kathy. Like, I interrupted an important phone call because I answered this phone call. It was Melaleuca, which is a business thing. And then I did have an appointment. And I told everybody in the UEO I had an appointment at 11 o'clock because we were going to record. So that conversation was like unexpected, So I was trying to get off the phone. She's like texting me at like 11:01. It's not important to you. I'm like, I apologize. This is what happened. Like, my bad. But I'm gonna apologize once and twice, like 3 times. It's not baseball. Like, I'm sorry. It wasn't intentional. My time is. I'm like, look, I'm not gonna go back and forth with you. I'm not gonna read your message. I apologize. So next, like, you don't have to do it with me. I'm just telling. I'm telling you. Don't tell me. How about I tell you? How about that? I won't. I'm not gonna waste your time. I won't go back and forth with you. She's like, you're right. I'm not gonna go back and forth with you. Like that jazzy attitude. Like that boy. Boy. That disrespect. That disrespect. That's why I have to have boundaries. Because that disrespect is just it's too much. No, it doesn't drive me crazy. Like we can drive, but like down by the lake, you can drown. I'm gonna get out of this mud. Like we can drive down by the lake. That's how I feel. Mm-mm.
Well,
I don't need you to be taking no trips to the lake or nothing. We'll need no rock on the ankles.
well, we already said we're not going to jail. So.
I'm not. Like I said, I don't drink from where the toilet is. I don't drink where I piss. I can't do it. It's not healthy. It's not healthy.
I ain't gonna do it. So you ain't never gonna find your body. Like,
No.
I can't go to prison.
I can't. I cannot. When I went to go. I applied as a nurse. For the women's prison. I don't think I'm tough enough for the men's prison. I don't, and I'm not. So I applied for the women's prison, and all them women, they were like, they like my outfit, they like my boots. They're like, I like your boots. I like your boots. I think I lost my job. I couldn't get that job because I think I came out too likable. I think maybe. But in the meantime, in the interview, they were like, if somebody says they're having a seizure, like don't trust them, like just let them die. Like I'm like, I can't do that. Like I'd be the one to get got. You said what?
My mother-in-law used to work in.
Just let them die.
I'm too.
Applying for a nursing position. That's their advice. Like, don't trust them. If they have a seizure, they trying to get escape or something. Like,
Yeah, and that might be true. Well, then escape shit. I don't know what to tell you. I'm not equipped to even stop you, so I'm not fit for that job. I had nice boots on, try to dress nice. You know, I didn't know how you want me to dress, like a bum. I don't know what you wanted. Like an inmate. I don't know what you wanted. So I don't know. My husband is he's a Marine vet, and he applied for he was a chef when he was in the Marine Corps. He applied for a job after he got the Marine Corps for in the prisons as a cook, as a chef. They told him that his credit score wasn't good enough because they felt like if his credit score wasn't good enough, that he could be bought, by these inmates. I was like, what kind of crazy? That shit was crazy. It was crazy. It was so strange, but that's what it is. So I don't.
Even if you got a high credit score, you don't need anything. You can still be bought.
That's what I would think. That's what I would think. So it was very interesting. Again, boundaries.
That is very.
It is. You can't win. You can't win for nothing. So.
Yeah. Are you still on stereo?
I am.
Oh, okay. Because I gave me a notice that says, "Sorry you missed Andy's call" or something.
I'm still on here. I am. I'm gonna I'm gonna purchase the equipment to do the editing. Queen Kathy will tell y'all I'm frugal. We've never met in person, but she knows. I'm frugal.
Yeah.
I don't mind paying people.
I think we feel the same way as far as I don't think she should start our show yet. I don't think we're ready for the show to be started yet. But you're like me. You playing that over and over and over again, the same episode will drive anybody crazy. I don't care. Don't like let's get it fixed and then let's start.
I don't, and that's the thing. Like everybody, and that's the the thing. I think that like the vision is so big, and that's the thing with all of us, especially in the Black community. We have so many goals and ambitions and amazing visions. It's very overwhelming. It's hard to keep up with everyone, with one another. So when we have visions, we jump on those things, and it doesn't always pan out the way we want it to. It doesn't mean that we don't keep going and try to be consistent and diligent, and that's where we have to set those boundaries where I can't, we always strive for perfection, but there's no such thing. You just do your best, and it doesn't always measure up to everybody's expectations, but that doesn't matter. If I try my best today, you don't know what it required for me to try my best, so your perfection and your perception of that doesn't really matter in that sense, if that makes any sense. So with this, I think you said what?
I was just making a post about that.
Yeah. So I mean, that's where accountability comes in, conversation, communication, and honesty. So like with the radio station, the United Empires of Akiba line, everything all of us do here on this platform right now, it's individualized, but we can all collaborate together in a sense. But just being honest, so for me, if I say we're gonna do something, it might take a lot for me to do it. I might be up, late night. Kathy knows I'll fall asleep on a meeting at 7:30, 8 o'clock. Okay. And be up at 1 o'clock in the morning and can't sleep, and so I think we try our best, and that's all we can do. That's really all we can do, and just be accountable. So
and then we kind of fell off, and then we tried to pick back up, and then I feel that we fell off again. And I know everyone's busy, has different schedules and everything. So,
so what is we're talking about?
So right now, I'm gonna send you a link, Gabby. It's the United Empires of Akiba line, and it's basically like just a micronation coming together and just uniting all melanated people that are open-minded, and so the morning radio show is kind of it's an offspin of what we're doing just to bring awareness. So we're on a radio show. We were on 2 radio shows, or 2 radio platforms rather, and now we've backed down to 1. So just having those conversations about being just saying we're gonna do something, and people being just everywhere because we're everywhere, and just finding a place where we can all collaborate and make things work and make things make sense. So that's what that is. So yeah.
Okay, cool.
So I know, Gabby, tell everybody what you're doing. I know I've talked to you before, but share what you're doing.
Oh Lord, it's so much.
Isn't it?
So my as my full-time job, I still have a full-time job where I'm an IT business relationship consultant, and that I have now funneled into my business because I have a consulting firm where I was helping small businesses to kind of they're doing the startups or branding, marketing type stuff. If you need the logo design, websites, all that good stuff. getting some, your social media platforms created and starting those up for you so you can get those, use your logos and, get everything branded, all that good stuff. And then if they also offer like project management services or project planning, which is a consulting thing. So I will, if you just want somebody to help you to, like, you have an idea, but you don't know how to focus it necessarily, like I'll do the research, for you, gather the information, help you plan it, define what the actual need is, and plan out the steps and the stages, and then hand that plan over to you. Or depending on what it is, and if I have the capacity to manage the project, see it through the end, then that's the project management services. My degree is in project management. I also have a certificate in nonprofit management and leadership. So one type of business that I help set up is the 501c3s. So I've recently started working with them on like fund development, succession planning type efforts, and helping them with like their software needs, because most small businesses are run by a couple people. And if they have any technology in place at all, it's very little generally. And there are a lot of platforms out here that offer either discounts or reduced pricing for nonprofits, or they have like grants and scholarships that you can get the software for free. So I will, help them plug that stuff in to be able to, get some of their processes automated, so it lifts some of the burden off of the nonprofit agency. And then I am also a real estate investor, so I offer consulting services for other real estate investors, especially those that are just getting started, to help you kind of vet your deals and make sure that you're going to make the money that you think you're going to make, and ensure that it's a good deal. And then I also have private money lending for those deals if you need the funds to be able to do your fix and flips, rehabs, cash out refis, new constructions, all that good stuff. And also do some commercial lending.
I love it. I love the long list of your credentials and your capabilities and your gifts. I love that. And that's what's needed. That's what's needed to be shared with everybody. There are so many opportunities that you can have and you can tap into that people don't even think about. So thank you for sharing that.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Yes. So are you still doing the insurance endeavor or no?
And look, I remembered when I stopped talking, I was like, dang, I forgot that piece. And so also part of the consulting firm, that's where I tie Primerica in. So I do still offer that service where to families and individuals to be able to, analyze your finances, look at your plans, where you want to go, put together the plan, the debt reduction, if you need that service. If you're you have a savings goal, you're trying to buy a house or something like that, whatever it is, like I can help you put together the plan that to help you with your budgeting. If you want a ongoing coach, that's a service. If not, if you just need the plan created for you and you feel like you can monitor it yourself and just have some check-ins for accountability, I offer that. And part of that is where the life insurance comes in at, because I try to save you money, all of Primerica services. I try to save you money and see where we can reduce your expenses.
Okay. That's what's up. I think there's nothing that any of us can't do. And I'd love for Kathy. I know Kathy's always working. Kathy does amazing. First of all, she's an amazing producer when it comes to our Good Morning from Africa Town, Los Angeles morning radio show. but more importantly, she has a lot of insight when it comes to farming and buying land. I learned so much from Kathy with buying land versus like buying a house. So yeah, we were in a group chat talking about what's it, wild grass? Is it wild grass?
Lettuce.
Wild lettuce, yes.
Wow.
Yeah. What you got going on, Queen?
Yeah. Well, I called Tina earlier and I had sent her some pictures. And I told her, I said, I'm calling you because I got this. Went outside this morning, doggone chipmunks got in our stuff. So they ate up our vegetables. They ate the arugula, they ate the stems off the beet. We had potatoes growing in a stack. They ate all the leaves off of that. So it's not too much left out there for them to eat. There's still more stuff. So at nighttime, they're coming in, and the fence that we have is the regular fence. They go right through that. You can keep the rabbits out, but we can't keep the chipmunks out, unfortunately. So we were mad this morning that they came and ate my stuff, and it was growing really good too. But oh yeah, first it was the bugs, then it was the extreme heat, and now the chipmunks.
Oh man.
Oh yeah, it can be challenging.
What do you do with the chipmunks though? Like, what do you do? Like, I couldn't imagine like killing the chipmunks. What do you do?
Well, we put
You kill Alvin, Simon, and Theodore. No, I'm just playing.
I know, right?
you know. I guess you can put, well, cayenne pepper is supposed to basically the smell scent and supposed to keep them out. But we have that all over, and they just dumped and still ate that because they're able to get into the robots and like everything. So I don't know. We got to figure out something, figure out how to cover it. But I'm really mad about that. Because I have somebody here that's waiting for me to roll the arugula. And it's like we were dealing with so much with the arugula dying, and once it started doing good, it's like, okay, it's doing good, and then here they come. So I guess it's always something. It's one thing.
That's what they tell me.
Yeah, right.
So I keep going. That's all I can do. Keep going, plant more. But we're gonna have to figure out something to move things around or whatever.
Yeah.
I forgot to mention, Angelina, that I know I told you about Freetown Village, and you were entertaining, coming on board and whatnot. Our annual fundraiser is actually coming up, and I am planning that as we speak. So
okay,
I'll probably be reaching out for some support there. So if you can share anybody, spread the word. We're trying to come up with $40,000.
okay, I can do that.
Gabby, where are you local?
Where am I located? I'm in Indianapolis.
She's in Indiana with me.
Oh, okay.
So I think, Kathy, I told you, I think I shared with you, like, being conflicted with joining Freetown. Like, Gabby's very influential. Like she said, she has so much stuff going on, so many positive things going on. And so I really wanted to join, but I was conflicted because, like the fundraiser things, the, nonprofit things. I was already so involved in like the United Empires of Akibalan, my own thing, like, and that's what I'm saying, like having boundaries. It was really hard for me to like want to step into it like wholeheartedly, and had to like say, you know what, I don't think that it would be fair, trying to balance out everything, you know, doing that. So yes, I would definitely support that. Definitely, for sure. So I know. Do you want to share what the Freetown Village is? Because I was really enlightened with it. Because I really thought it was a museum, but it's not. Did you want to share that?
Yeah, so Freetown Village is a living Black History Museum. It started based off of like the 1870s census of all of the people, the Black people that were on the census, that showing that they were, they were free, living in their own community, and it profiled. There's caricatures and different, like, one person shows and performances that they have, that they give to, like, do these reenactments and bring these characters to life. They have since expanded past 1870 and just try to preserve history period and do research time periods and kind of accent like some of the lesser known individuals. Like, it's not the Rosa Parks and Dr. Martin Luther Kings. It's people from Indiana or that live in Indiana, so that it's tied to Indiana history and it shows, like, what their impact was. We've got stories on, people that had their own restaurants and, we're doing good. They're doing good, and we tell the truth. So, like, there's this, I can't think his name right now, but there's this one guy's story we just did not too long ago where he had his own restaurant, and he was thriving over, it was located like, so really like central downtown-ish, and they had some white man had they said they mistook him for a runaway slave, and they incarcerated him, and he lost his restaurant. He was locked up for a while, mistreated, all that good stuff, and then by the time he got out, he did sue.
Definitely. And that certainly makes a difference. So anybody that's listening, definitely support. So yeah. Thank you for sharing that. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Yes. And when is it?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
When is it?
Oh, I was talking about Kathy. I thought she said something too, but we actually just we're actually in the works of changing the date right now because we've got some other things and the timing is just too precious, so we haven't locked in a date yet for when we're going to do it, but we're looking at November.
Okay. Okay, cool. Yes, I'm definitely there. Definitely.
I was just saying that it's nice when we can get our history told to the kids, because I saw a video the other day and it was on Prager U. I don't know if you guys are familiar with them.
No.
They were, they had a video with Christopher Columbus, and they were teaching the kids, but they made it sound like everything was kind of fine. I won't say fun, but it was basically told wrong. Mm-hmm. A little video that I saw. But to change all that, definitely need to do that with our kids. Because the history that I was told in school was, or taught in school, that we were slaves and that was it. That was our history.
Right. Mm-hmm. So let me ask you. Go ahead, Queen.
The new thing that they're teaching, and Florida Governor Santos is teaching that basically we were enslaved, but we came out with skills. So in other words, we're still just idiots who basically we should be thanking them for putting us into slavery because we came out with skills. And very offensive. So your project that you guys are doing is excellent with teaching the kids, and you're teaching in their own city too. So that part is excellent. So, anyway, I just want to bring it up.
Definitely.
So I appreciate the feedback, and I agree that it is very important, and that's kind of why I'm so invested in supporting them like that, because you, as time progresses and get so far removed from an event or an occurrence, like the story can get tweaked and tailored, and it can get lost, and then you make it seem like it's either irrelevant or you completely change it. And there's so many places around that are altering the narrative, and a lot of places like they're advocating you're going to take that down and do that, and like try to act like slavery just never happened.
Right.
So it's important to continue to know where we came from and learn those lessons, so that one, history repeats itself quite often. So you don't want to turn and look up and some craziness is happening, because not only were Black people enslaved, there were so many different nationalities that were enslaved. So to keep on doing it and just keep on like having this separatism and this craziness that we do, like because we allow people to drive and decide who we are, like we lose our identity so easy.
Right.
Well, yeah. I think that's done on purpose, because I was telling Angie the first thing that, the first time I guess we saw on TV was Roots, and that was in the 70s, and they're still making slave movies in 2023. So it's always in our face. We're constantly reminded of it, and it's not white people that's enslaved, it's not other races, it's always us. I went to Prime Television. There's a new, I don't know if it's a movie or I think it's a movie or series, one of a movie or series just came out, and you rip it off. It just keeps going and going and going. I'm like, okay, when are we going to stop? But even if other people were enslaved, you don't see them in the movies being enslaved. It's always us.
Yeah, but you think about what types of movies do you get where the cast is mostly black or like a large population?
And that's okay though. Why can't we support the low budget? That's okay. You know, if you have a gripe with all these big time, producers like telling falsehoods, then what's the problem with the low budget? That's what I don't understand.
It doesn't get watched often.
We don't promote it.
They have a lot of black.
They do.
I watch, a lot of low budget or whatever. I'm like, we can't afford to, a lot of us can't afford to have the big screen and the, the larger big budgets or whatever.
Because nobody's buying into it. They don't think that they don't think it'll do well, or they just don't want that image out there. That's not what we're used to seeing. So they're not supporting.
I agree. We have to get better with that. We have to learn how to support what's relevant and what's important and what matters to us. Like I even think like when we talk about this conversation, like when we talk about removing, history repeating itself, removing certain aspects. For me, like I know they want to remove the Confederate statues. I don't think that's a good idea. And at first I did, I was like, tear that stuff down, But thinking about it, my husband showed me like, again, history repeats itself. So if you're tearing down these Confederate statues, like it makes people forget that y'all did some ratchet stuff. So you can't erase that. It's not that we promote it or that we turn a blind eye. It's that we, not having it in your face changes everything. So, yeah, again, understanding boundaries and like what you stand for and what'll make you fall, what your Achilles heel is. Those things are important. We don't look at those things. Even when it comes to being successful, what is your success, built off of? What's your image of success? What's your foundation of success? And there's a big lack. You just want. But you don't do. You want everything. You don't work for it. You don't earn it. You don't deserve it. And when you get it, you squander it. What's happening? So you can never expect somebody to ante up and be about anybody else but self when you think like that. And it's unfortunate, but it's the truth. I think. I don't know.
I don't disagree.
I'm gonna play this recording on stereo really quickly. I'm trying to read through it before I play it. I'm gonna play this really quickly.
I got a theory on that. So I want to like rewrite and change history based around slavery and all that stuff. I feel like it's not. They telling us it's because they don't want to make the kids feel uncomfortable, but I don't think that it ain't got nothing to do with that. I think it more got to do with something like they don't want the parents and the grandparents feeling uncomfortable when these kids start connecting the dots and start asking some real questions. It's just my thoughts on
that. All right, did you ladies hear that?
Yeah, they're teaching it to their kids in the home anyway, because those kids are acting it out in school. And then plus, like I said, the movies are still coming out. It's still in your face.
I agree. It just doesn't make any sense though. You know, I don't know, like even when you look at racism, like when by definition you look at racism and like you have to think that you're better than everyone. So like you're the supreme of everyone. So how is it that it's always a black white thing? Like if you think you're better than everybody, that means you think you're better than everybody. So what's the stigma with black people in the black community? And why do we allow it to be the case? It doesn't make any sense. It makes no sense to me, personally. I don't know why we don't feel like we can't rise above. It doesn't make it like it's not a tit for tat. We're like, if I do better, or if I say that you can't impress me, that I'm better than you. Well, those might just be facts, but it's not even the point. Like I don't understand why we don't have boundaries where we don't say enough is enough and have some standards. That's what's disappointing, I guess. It's understandable, but it's still disappointing.
Well, generation after generation, you have to make sure that we stay in the bottom and they stay at the top. So in order to do that, you have to teach the young. So they teach this stuff in the home because where else are they getting it from?
Mm-hmm.
So what we need to